So this is a good, important topic, not just als pilpul. This is a question the Rabbi had a few months ago. You had it. Remember, he called me. So unfortunately, I'm asked all the time this question. Sometimes it's very frightening. Sometimes it's so blurry. Sometimes you don't get the picture what the family wants, what the truth is. It's not always clear. So let's start inside, and as we go along, I'll tell you. Now, the Gemara Masechtas Yuma says, how do you know that Kiyach Nefesh Doiches Shabbos? So the Gemara has a bunch of drashes, many drashes. Mamadu learns it out from Mila, believe it or not. Madach Mila, that which fixes only one aver is Doiches Shabbos. Saving your body, fixing your whole body. Others Doiches Shabbos. Mamadu learns it from the Avodah, that if you have a person to save a person's life, you take him off from the Mizbeach. The Mizbeach is Doiches Shabbos. The Avodah is Doiches Shabbos. Still, if there's a Kohen doing the Avodah and he could come quickly testify in Bezdin to save a person's life, drops the Avodah and runs to Bezdin. So the darshan, if that is Doiches Shabbos and Avodah is Doiches Shabbos, that Doiches Avodah, Avodah B'Kiyach Nefesh Doicha. Finally, there's another Mudum learns in Machteres. The din is that if a guy wants to kill someone, the guy makes a hold up, you're allowed to kill him. So when it says Madach, you're not sure if he's coming to kill or not, you're allowed to kill him. So that means a buma machteres, you're allowed to kill a kolchkin to save a person's life. The end of the Gemara says everyone has a kasha, shmiel, v'chai b'hem, v'lo shiyumas b'hem. That's how the Rambam Paskins order the Shiurim. 30 says, what does it mean? 30 says, I want you to make sure that you're alive. Don't put yourself into jeopardy, because the Gemara darshans even a suffix. Now, let's say we're not sure that you're going to die, but maybe you'll get sick. Now maybe it could be 1 out of 1,000 is enough. If it's epidemic, so you're allowed to be Mechal Shabbos, you're allowed to do it in Nevelis. So the Torah says your life is more important. You must. The Torah says you are obligated to keep yourself alive more than anything, to make sure you're alive. So let's just start a little bit. We learn the Halacha, we see interesting things. Kol P'kiyach Nefesh Doiches Shabbos. All P'kiyach Nefesh is Doiches Shabbos. V'Hazoris, guy who does it, Hareji Mishubach, is praised. Now this is very important. Many people, I don't know why they take this, that when there's a fire, they're not sure. If there's a fire in a house, and there's a slightest chance, fires could travel very quickly, and it could put Chas v'Shalom someone in danger. You're allowed to extinguish the fire, and if you're not going to extinguish the fire, and it's possible that the newspaper is going to get catch the wind of it. You say in English, whatever. That itself puts the Jewish people in danger. You're also allowed to. It says that the Chassam Sofer has a famous tshuva. The Chassam Sofer has a tshuva that based that if a goy is a bekuach nefesh, goy is dying, so you're allowed to saved his life, because if the goy would see that, if you don't want to save their life, it would put the Jews in danger.
Like a groom.
Yeah, well,
also a doctor for goy.
Yeah, but that unfortunately is extremely misused by the modern Orthodox people. And Moshe says that you're allowed to be a doctor, but the medical organization says a doctor should not work 7 days a week, because she only work 5 days a week because it's too stressful. And they encourage you not to take any phone calls, not to be on call. I spoke to doctors. They clearly encourage you. They say it's extremely stressful on the person, so they want to be on. They want to be on call Shabbos because it's money. As the few doctors, one guy in modern Orthodox told me clearly. I walk around. Well,
you're talking about a practicing doctor, not someone in residency who's training to be a doctor.
That's something else.
Because they don't have a choice.
They don't have a choice, but they have to do everything in the world to make sure to find someone substitute them. I tell you a cute story. I had a doctor who this is when the doctors were making money. So anyway, it goes about 20 years ago, and she was a lady becoming a doctor. She couldn't find anyone to cover her for Shabbos. So for every Shabbos, it was Shabbos came out Christmas, something like that. She couldn't find anyone to cover her. So, I said to her, why don't you offer money? Offer money. You'll have in the end, my medical college course costed me $150,000 plus another $500. So the truth is that for every week she found, if she couldn't find free, she for $500. That weekend she paid $5,000, not the Mechal Shabbos. She said, she listened to what I said. I said, it cost her medical school, cost her I remember how much she says, $150,000. Another $5,000 is not gonna, but I don't know if you believe to do it, because I explained it to her then she hire a nurse who goes around, will do the typing for her, and that's what she did one. In such a way, but she doesn't do any malacha. Come out because in the emergency room, watch her chant, things with them. But a doctor has to do everything. But coming,
driving to and from?
no, they shouldn't drive. They have to stay there. And there was more problems. They went into a store. They got stuck in the hospital. It was he didn't have what to eat, so he went into the store and he bought something. He wrote with his left hand. He was hungry. There were more problems. This perfectly okay to go home. It's a hefsid merubah. It's a shazot chagul. Anyways, I want to focus on this over here. So the Moshe, what you just mentioned, the Moshe's tshuva is talking about if your mom is stuck, you can't hire yourself Shabbos and say you got to heal the goyim. You understand? That's not what Moshe's clearly. You got to do everything in the world. And most doctors, they tell you that you should be closed Shabbos because it's, it's better. You got to have a day off.
If you're on call, if you're a doctor, you're on call on Shabbos.
No. You don't be on call on Shabbos. You don't have to be on call on Shabbos. They encourage you not to be in call for 1 or 2 days a week. The medical, I forgot how it's called, the medical association, whatever, there's a name for that.
I understand, but usually there's a rotation that you have your patients, whatever it is.
No, they always have people that they encourage you to have. Doctors explained to me, look, my wife, before she had the operation, we needed a 20. Well, my doctor was a from doctor, Dr. Geff, the famous Dr. Geff is a from doctor. You had someone covering Shabbos. He says very simple. You can't work. You burn out. You don't have a time. She says it's gewaltig for him Shabbos. You know what I'm saying? But he had someone covered. Believe it or not,
I've seen from doctors that work on Shabbos.
That's wrong. The Mechal Shabbos. They do it because they don't want to pay someone to cover them. That's all what it is.
Huh.
Or from ignorance. I heard the truth from Moshe. You see people get confused.
Yeah, but I heard this like David said, in the tshuva of Moshe, I heard this quoted all the time, and Moshe says in that tshuva, you have to do everything in the world to make sure that get someone to substitute. How you saying that?
This was even for a goy, so that it should
even for a goy. Yeah. If you have only Jewish patients, and I'm giving Moshe, Dr. Geff, most of his patients are Jews. All the Jewish people use them. And he said it just pronounced. But he's a great doctor. Motzei Shabbos he came running. One time my wife was rushed to the hospital Shabbos, and boom, he shows up Motzei Shabbos. He goes on the computer and sees a. But I'm just saying. But Lamaisa Shabbos is off, and they don't have to. They would not blame you for not taking any calls. Yeah, it won't. They believe strongly.
So 1 second. But if you get a call and you're a doctor, your patient has an emergency that you need.
He did not come. My wife was rushed Friday night to the hospital in the middle of the night, and he did not come. Who came? His person covered him. Happened to be a Muslim Persian. He said he's a good doctor. And Dr. Geff afterwards explained to me he's a good doctor. He came, and this because he covers him Shabbos. Very simple.
Some says that if the Yid is not going to help them, and they're going to understand that we don't be Machal Shabbos, we put the Yid in danger. Because the Koch Nefesh you can do it.
Sofer, the famous Shulchan Sofer says that there was a story in Eretz Yisrael, a Friar newspaper, I remember which one, and then they found out it wasn't true, and the newspaper got into trouble. The reporter made up a story that was a guy had a heart attack in a Jewish neighborhood. No one wanted to save his life because he was a Chaloini, and turned out the whole thing not to be true. And the truth is that most Chaloinis are Tinik Shenishba. 99% are Tinik Shenishba. You know what I mean? You're out of Mechal Shabbos in them anyways, those stories. But even our Goy, the Moshe has a tshuva, he says, Amira Digi Chiddush. He says, when a Yid does an Agoy, anyways, maybe not a Daraisa. It's Muruch Shein Tzich Halegifa. I'm only doing it because I don't want to put myself into danger. There's a big tzad, not everyone agrees to it, it has a whole tshuva. You understand what that means? You know what Muruch Shein Tzich Halegifa means? In Shabbos, you only chayev if you do the malacha because you really need it. Here, I wish not to need it. The only reason I'm doing it because I don't want to get into trouble, not because I want to help you. I don't want to be arrested. I don't want to be, mobbed, lynched, whatever. So that's called the Maruch Hashem Tzich Halegufa. He brings a merik, a Tshuvas merik that way. It's not soymich on that itself. Clearly, he says others agree. Part of the Tshuva, he brings such a shitta.
How do you explain Hansala working on Shabbos?
Yeah, saving person's lives, of course. I mean,
You can call 911.
you know why Tzola started? Tzola started in Williamsburg, happened to be a Chassidish Yid, because one time they called the 911, until the guy came, the guy died. It took 20 minutes. I remember as a child, you never expect him in 20 minutes. And Tzola is in 3 minutes, less than 3 minutes a day. They saved my lives. So I remember, New York EMT was trying to catch up to that Tzola. You know, there's nothing like competition. You know what I mean?
If something happens to someone, there's nothing like they're a doctor.
That's for sure.
Coming out.
Yeah, but the personal doctor can't always be reached.
You can't work 7 days a week. You
Can.
do it.
The doctor can, and not always, that's not true. I could talk from unfortunately my wife's experience. My doctor explained to me that the people in the emergency room do a better job than I could have done because they are reviving her. I'm just there, know what the heart is, what's wrong, what medicines we should give around. But when a person is so ill, they literally have to emergency around, they do a better job. He said, if I would have been there, I wouldn't have known what to do. So he was trying to explain to me. Because it's a whole different, when a person is so ill, it's a whole different situation. But that Tzola is made because it saves thousands of lives. I mean, there's no question about it. You see this.
How about other professions, soldiers, police officers?
So this they have in Eretz Yisrael, they have tshuvas about this. The soldiers are allowed to walk around with the guns. And there was a big tumult, a big tumult. If there's an Erev, there's no problem. It's only muktzah. That's not a major problem. When, in the cities where there's an Erev. When a place where there's no Erev, that was the question. So most Gedolim held as, they know a lot ahead of time when to call up, you know what I mean? They know if there's no, how's it called, strife, it's the right word in English, no, everything is quiet, then they shouldn't walk around with the guns. On Shabbos. Talking about the Shabbos, the muktzah didn't bother them, because that's not muktzah in case I'm called. But in certain cities, I don't know where, but there's not always a native. That's what the place can say you should not walk around.
Is it a lot safer to have soldiers walking around with the arm?
They don't have bullets with them.
Really?
They changed the law recently because there's some next time. They know everything. I don't know. I'm not an Israeli. Anyone? Yeah,
They don't load the gun, but they have.
Now they changed the thing that they have ammunition. Used to be they didn't have ammunition. Is that true?
No, they always have.
Always had. Someone told me the original.
Fantastic.
They have. Maybe it was not loaded, so on the side. That's what they have.
A police officer.
Well, if he's a police officer.
There's no immediate pickup.
Well,
There's
sex,
patrolling, or it's just like routine work.
I don't know. Does Bnei Brak have police officers on duty on Shabbos? No. You have to. I don't know. You're right. The police officer is not the pikuach nefesh, but certain cities, I could imagine, will be pikuach nefesh. If you know all the policemen are not working today, there's going to be pikuach nefesh. The society has scums. Every society, every kehillah, there's a Yiddish saying, every kehillah has its meshiguim in genuvim. We don't have to borrow from each other. Famous old Yiddish saying. Every kehillah has. There could be in Bnei Brak. There was a murder recently in Bnei Brak. It's not a chiddush to me. Every society has its.
The Shmira would fall into the same category as gospel.
Yeah, someone asked me this new Shmira program in the community. He asked me, he asked me, he's a Lubavitcher, said, can he walk around with his phone? I said, if your cell phone, it can only be for the Shmira, and I know you don't want to carry the Erev, but the Erev is a good Erev, even according to Sheikh Mukharav. It's just, it's principle. So if you want to be the Shmira, then you could wear it.
There wasn't an Erev?
There were no. It's rare they're going to need them. It's not like that, Solo. Solo, my shoe.
If there's a call on Shabbos, you're saying like an emergency, then they can respond to it.
Yeah.
If someone's calling them, then
If they get that call, they can get in the car and drive over.
Yeah. Depends what. The problem is with that Solo is a lot of silly calls too.
correct. They don't know.
They don't know. So,
Not important.
silly calls. A lady fell down the stairs. She called that Solo. She calls on the cell phone. I fell down the stairs. It's a guy. I fell down the stairs. I feel like I'm dying. Okay, there was nothing there. She was a young lady. She fell down the stairs. She needed 3 stitches. But the whole Solo member came because
Sometimes people call it so because they don't want to get involved with an entire bill from the ambulance. So therefore, the doc could get sometimes very minor calls that a normal ambulance wouldn't even get.
Well, the Shabbos is the problem. Yeah, this is something.
That's a mentality. I'm not saying that they don't get major calls. They also get major calls, but they will get these minor calls that others will not get.
That's also true. Okay. You have to speak up.
I came late. Suppose somebody is in a training program, be an intern or something, and they're required to work because that's what the rotation is.
See, the Moshe says in the Tshuva, I think so, I have to look it up again. If you know ahead of time you're going to be Mechal Shabbos, you're going to have to come to Chil Shabbos, you're not supposed to do it.
So you just forget being a doctor.
Yeah.
You're able to become a doctor.
Yeah, but that's not many doctors become, and they changed. I have from 3 doctors that I know who became doctors, and no problem. They always found people to take over Shabbos.
Nobody's saying it can be that no fluid can ever become a doctor.
They do become doctors because they get people to cover Shabbos.
But not an intern.
Interns,
Oh yes, they do.
If they go to like an Albert Einstein Medical School, yes. They go to
In the Cedars. I have a doctor right now in Cedars.
It's a Jewish place. It's a Jewish place.
No, not because he's Jewish. It's not because he found someone to cover him. He had to work Shabbos. He had to work Saturday night. It was one of his nights, and he found someone to cover Shabbos. I have more than once people have called me, and I told them, why don't you have someone cover him? First time I told someone, another doctor once told him, get someone to cover for you $500. So he called me back after Shabbos, Rabbi, I found someone for $50 to exchange. No, because many of them are really struggling. They're just they're really struggling. So he said, $500. That guy did it for me for $50. The only real problem I had when it was a holiday was once Shabbos, Christmas, and that's when I remember this doctor just couldn't.
They're saving lives. Is that not?
The question is, you're not right now saving most of the goyish lives. They're saving. So the question is, can you, if you know ahead of time? That's not so simple. Not so simple. It's a big machlok. It's a huge machlok. I'll speak about it later. Let me tell you.
The case where the woman goes into labor on Shabbos, right? So the husbands always go.
Because that's called p'kich nefesh. She needs a husband. The Gemara says so. The Gemara says that's called p'kich nefesh. A woman who's going chil ke'eleido. Chil means.
The Chabanis don't even go to the room. What are you talking
I don't know what the Chal. I just don't tell you what it says in Elchonon.
It's not confusing. Nothing to do. We're with our wives, which is what they need. Just when the baby comes out, they walk out of the room.
I wasn't there with my wife finally giving birth. She doesn't need me there, but till my wife needed me till they rushed her into giving birth. I went there's 3 nurses around here, but before that, you're all alone in a room, and they come in every 20 minutes, and they check on you. It's a different story. The Gemara says even a blind lady giving birth, if she says put on a light, you have to put on a light because to calm her nerves, the Gemara says. Yeah. Okay, so let me just tell you, since you brought it up, there's a famous question that Reb Shlomo Klieger and the Minchas Chinuch says, what happens if a person put themselves into danger? You're allowed to be Mechal Shabbos. And they say a chiddush, an incredible chiddush, that a person, no, did b'mezid, they did something Shabbos, b'mezid, and now they're in danger.
They jumped off the building.
Yeah, they knew teenagers doing, teenager things, and and they got into danger, or did something, or even before, whatever the situation, are you allowed to be Mechal Shabbos? So they come, and Shlomo Klieger wants to say a chiddush, and Moshe has a tshuva, and he says it's impossible to say such a thing. He brings a moed di geraya. The Balamua learns, and he says the Rishonim agree in Halacha. There's a famous Gemara 3 days before Shabbos, you're not allowed to go on the boat. The Balamua says, you know why you're not allowed to go on the boat to get chila? Because those days that we're in a boat, they have to be Mechal Shabbos Deraisa on Shabbos. Since they have to be Mechal Shabbos Deraisa, but if you did go, you're allowed to be Mechal Shabbos. Right, it says for Dvar Mitzvah, you're allowed to go less than 3 days. Right. So you see that even though I know clearly it's Thursday, Friday, and even the beginning of the week, I know clearly I'm going to come to my Mechal Shabbos. I'm allowed to go on the boat, and even according to Balamur, that even though and the Rabbanu argues is only because it's the Rabbanim, he holds with the Rabbanim, you're not allowed to do it, but when I Torah, you're allowed to do it. So if a guy puts himself into danger, which has another moed di geraya, the Gemara says the Hasidim Arishonim were not intimate with the wives if they want to become pregnant the Wednesday, because the Gemara says if you come pregnant Wednesday, the birth is going to be Shabbos. So they were Hasidim Arishonim, the one that should be the Mechal Shabbos. So why you have to be a chassid? You have to make sure not to be Chal Shabbos. Apiden. Tell every chassid, don't be intimate Wednesday because then the baby will be born Shabbos. Those days used to be that. Nowadays it doesn't work that way anymore. But you see that just because even I know for sure she will give birth Shabbos, so you're leaving on a boat 3 days before Shabbos, for sure you come to Chal Shabbos, but David, it's okay.
And Rabbi Shlomo Klieger, there were no such people. It was a theory, but I'm not sure there were people that needed to find a heter.
And Moshe just has someone asked them, but I don't have a practical question. Yeah, I mean.
What if someone's not from? And just says definitely.
So I was going to show the Shulchan Aruch. The Shulchan Aruch in Chosh Mishpat says a mimility oven. If a guy's a mimility oven, then you're allowed to save his life. Big as a machlokes, and you should save a life. But mimel hachis, or a person who's a roya behemoth daka, and we'll see later, then you're not allowed to save his life. But that doesn't apply again nowadays. If you are living in Eretz Yisrael, if you're not going to save the guy's life, you put the from people into danger. But most often today, the people in Eretz Yisrael are not what's his name.
They're not
Not lachis. Most of them are already the next third generations are not tinik shenishba. Most. I mean, there are people who go off the derech, no question, but.
To be the Achas, you have to once be pruned?
Achas means you have to be once through, correct. I always say over a story out of a neighbor who had someone in my block who grew up and she became from. And mamish, I was raising my children. So I asked her, how did you look at us? She used to went to public. One word my mother told me when I was young. These are fanatics. That's it. Just one word. These are the fanatics. Finished.
Mother was right.
But just saying that, it wasn't that she said maybe it makes sense. She ignored it all the time. She saw it from people, my neighbor, walking on my block. She grew up. I mean, just that's called a tinik shenish, but they don't. Okay, so what was the other?
With the government, when there's a big storm coming, and they go around with their speakerphone saying that you have to leave the area. If you stay here, we're not coming to save you.
You have to leave. On Shabbos, it's dangerous. People didn't leave and they got killed.
We're saying if someone did stay, can you be called Shabbos?
Yes, that's a good mashal. That's a great mashal, what you just said. Shlomo Kluger said no, and Moshe brings a bunch of rayas that I never saw Moshe write so sharp. He says, Shura le'mura, let the Rebbeinu Shalom moichel them for saying such a thing.
Because it wasn't a get.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, Elamaisa, he brings a lot of rayas. That's a good question. That's a very good thing what he just brought up. Let's say there's a storm and they say, there's a fire. What is it called? We have our fires over here. And they tell you got to leave. And the guy was always wise guys. Always wise guys. And then he's in danger. You're allowed to save his life in Shabbos. Even though he could have left Thursday, Friday, and they told you to leave Thursday, Friday, you're allowed to Mechalel Shabbos.
Don't we believe that maybe someone did tshuva? Means say, we say someone who jumped out, off the building, whatever.
Only the Lubavitchers believe that. Come on.
No. There's a chuvas. No. There's a chuvas Maram Shik that says this. That why is the minig that a mimiliti oven? He held the mimiliti oven. Also, you're not allowed to save your life. This is machlokes the Rab Paskins the Kula. So he says because we think maybe he did tshuva. But that's everyone agrees if it's a mimel Achas, you're not allowed to save his life. Only it's a case where it's dangerous.
If you see that he changed his ways, that's how you have to see verifiable.
Everybody does tshuva when they're in danger?
Yeah, but sometimes they don't even have a chance to do tshuva. The guy was in an accident, he doesn't know what hit him. Guy is dying from cancer, yes, but most of
So from a kid in the neighborhood who decides he's driving at Shabbos, gets into cars in front of Shul, you can't save him.
can't save his life if he was right.
Unless his father will let him go and kill you, so then...
Or a knocker,
Now, I'm going to explain this. There's a very important halacha over here, what you just asked. If a guy, the first time I remember this question came up, I was in my neighborhood before everyone had a cell phone. There was a van that turned over. There was a major accident. First time on Shabbos on Beverly Boulevard. And I went there and I was for a few minutes thinking, I should run, call, not call, because I couldn't see who was strapped. Didn't look like it looked like a white. But time, anyways, I called before I decided. Okay. But then I was very young and I didn't know halacha well. And I remember after Shabbos, I looked up the halacha very well. That you are obligated to Mechalel Shabbos. It's a Ramah in Even Ezer. The Rav brings it down the Kitzur over here. The Ramah in Even Ezer holds that the Gemara says ein holchem b'kich nefesh acharoiv. So Mamela in every neighborhood there are some Jews, and they're all Tinnik Shenishma. They're driving Shabbos. You guys know better than I. Most of the people are Tinnik Shenishma. Most of the non-religious Jews are just raised that way. So Mamela, you're allowed to. You're not sure who he is. If you're allowed to be Mechalel Shabbos. Lest Mami doesn't look like it, or maybe if he's looks like Chinese or we don't have any one of those. But if it wouldn't be today, Baruch Hashem the Shala, people, there's an accident already. I once called in, saw an accident, and the dispatcher told me you're the fourth one who's calling in already. I thought I was the first one.
In case of the fire, if it's going to be dangerous for the person saving the other person.
Oh, that's a separate issue. You're not supposed to put yourself into danger. You want to see.
Oh, here.
Look in the next page, Tu Freshid Gimel. You have Tu Freshid Gimel?
Yeah.
The top line. You have it, the top line. If it's dangerous, you have it? Top line. Tu Freshid. Mekom kem yeshkuna ein lo lesaken atzmo kehatzas chaveire ma'acha shichitz min askuna af shelo b'misas chaveire. So the paskins like the Rishonim, even if he's vada gonna die, no question. But you are sufik, you're not allowed to say, you're not allowed to say, you're not obligated.
You're allowed to.
So it doesn't say you're not allowed to. That means that even though he's saying if you are a suffix schooner, so even though you're a suffix schooner, more and the other person is, there's no question he's going to die. But if you're going to do it, you might die. If it's a suffix, no. No, he's going. If he's saying in the end, look what he says, because this is part of the last conversation. Rav Shiroi b'mischaver apishi sufik v'chaver vaday v'kol mekor nema v'chay b'nashim the sufik misal de shikayim ashenem v'samadam aracho. This is a isa v'heter in Ebenezer, the place can bring down that you are not. Sometimes you hear people in the news try to save someone and they went down with them. You hear such stories.
So it doesn't say that you're not allowed to.
It just says you're not obligated.
Rashi in Chumash said the opposite.
It doesn't mean you shouldn't do it.
And the sin sucking correct.
Lahakol, that means use your suffix.
Yeah. Right.
But the idea of one person sacrificing themselves for someone else, how does that work?
That's a whole different sugi. When you're allowed to, you're not allowed to. This was Negei World War II. That's a whole, maybe another long conversation another time. This is just saying you're not obligated. Not obligated. There's a whole question. Are you allowed to? I'll just say the question. Maybe one time I'll bring speak the tshuva. There's the famous story of Mechubei Weissmandl, and if you heard about it, he was a famous a Rav, and he was an incredible genius. And he asked, my mother was with him on the train to Auschwitz, and my mother, till today, they don't know. He writes in the book, but he cut himself out of the train. No one understands how he did it. He was one of those geniuses who figured things out. But he jumped out of the train and he went hiding, and he tried to get bombs. How's it called? Dynamite, that they should blow up the tunnels where the trains were going, so maybe they won't be able to carry more Jews to kill them. What is the question? Am I allowed to kill a bunch of people to say who are vada going to die? Maybe some of them are going to live. Then allowing to save thousands of people. That was his question. He held you allowed to do it. I don't know the end why he doesn't. I remember I read the Sefer when I was young. I don't remember now why the end he didn't do it. That was the famous question. It was all the time questions. People, can I sacrifice my life to save someone else? And
You're not sacrificing yourself, you're killing others. Correct.
yeah, that was worse. Can I kill someone? Can I kill a few people to save thousands of lives?
Give me 1 year, I'll kill all of you.
So for that is that I forget.
Exactly.
That's why there's a lot of steers. There's a lot of steers. But doesn't mean, there's a lot of steers to that. The one the Kasha did, there's a famous, let's leave it for next time. We'll get them to.
Identify the person, then we can.
That's only Vizchai Misa. Not just because they identified him. That's a big machlokes.
And Mumar Lahachis and Meshuma is the same thing.
Right? Guy who decides Mumar Lahachis, or guy who is Mechal Shabbos Feresi. Feresi means 10 people know about it. Not that he has to drive down Eastern Boulevard, that is called Eastern Parkway. Everyone asks me this question: how much of a Mechal Shabbos? No, 10 people know that he's Mechal Shabbos. That's called Mechal Shabbos Feresi.
Meshuma means the same.
Meshuma means a guy. Meshuma is worse. Meshuma means a guy converted. But people have asked me. Someone asked me that unfortunately his sister became not religious, and lots of people know that.
And many of these people, they in their minds, they were wrong because they have a tinus.
Yeah, there are a lot of tinus. Sister has a huge tinus. But the bottom line is, the problem is that it's bishalakim. He wasn't asking about anything else. She says the sister is the most nicest girl from the family, and anyone has a child, and she comes and she helps them. And I told we was talking about in the smicha program in Jets. I said it's a problem b'shalakim. He just couldn't believe me. That's a problem. If someone who's religious became not religious, it's b'shalakim, it's pasakim, and you cannot be mechal Shabbos on him. Okay, let me.
Is that something that's enforced?
Like any other din of Shulchan Aruch.
Yeah, what does that enforced mean? You're not supposed to do it. Yeah, it's not a question of force. A person says, should I be mechal Shabbos on him? Should I get into the camp and be Michal Shabbos for them? The truth is, I don't see anyone bring it down. The Chofetz Chaim in his Sefer writes, and not in the Mishnah Berurah, he writes that when the Chilul Shabbos started after World War I don't know if you know history, after World War I, the Industrial Revolution speeded up, and Lithuania, the Chilul Shabbos became rampant because people would go, into the cities, and he said that the same people kept kashers, davened minyan, put on film. Chofetz Chaim was astounded because Rashi learns that a person Michal Shabbos is like a Avodah Zarah, doesn't believe in Hashem. He says it seems not that way. These same people kept kosher. There's a minyan called Shomer Shabbos in Borough Park. So when a young child moved, I asked my father, why is it called Shomer Shabbos? Who's not a Shomer Shabbos? So he said they had shoes. People would come daven Shabbos morning with the chazan, and they dressed Shabbos, and they left to go to work. They kept kosher all week long. They put on film. This minyan was called Shomer Shabbos because they didn't allow any member unless he kept Shabbos. So what the Chofetz Chaim wants to say in his Sefer, in one of his farm, so it's very possible that this halacha, but his son says he didn't rely on the Maisa, he said, you see, the Chayre, things change. These people are, even though they're Michal Shabbos, but they kept everything. They kept kosher, every other thing they did keep. They didn't realize the Chaymer Advarim, whatever.
So what's their status? So they're not.
He doesn't say Lamaisa. Theoretically, he says it. Theoretically, because the Gemara says, Michal Shabbos is Kavod Avodah Zarah. That's a Gemara.
I mean, in times of Beis Mikdash, when you're Michal Shabbos, you're really.
Yeah, but they're talking about even not Beis Mikdash times. The Gemara talks about later. The Shem talk about later. Talk it all the time. They were always Michal Shabbos. Also, Michal Shabbos, Shchita Nevela, and.
If a person's reform or conservative.
He was raised that way as a Tinnik Shanishba.
No, they became.
They don't become conservative. They go off if they came from, they become Friday.
So Tinnik Shanishba, let's say he accepts Yoshka, whatever.
Well,
he's wearing the Geshka, he really believes he's in it.
But that I don't think is. I think that's worse.
So if you come across something like that in a car accident.
If he wasn't raised that way and he became a shumid, then that's worse. But if a guy was raised this way, that's a whole different story.
No, this is somebody who never had anything. He's Jewish, but he didn't know any better than he.
Well, then it's a Tinnik Shanishba. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure. But a tinny, but if a guy, there are many cases where the guy, when I have a lady who told me she grew up and her father was Catholic. Mother says we be Catholics. Finish. Her mother was Jewish. Her grandfather was semi-from. She grew up going to the church, and it just didn't sit well with her, and that's when decided she became from.
What was the point of the Chofetz Chaim?
Chofetz Chaim said, the Gemara says Michal Shabbos is like over there throws away Yiddishkeit. He says he saw people Michal Shabbos and they kept every detail of Yiddishkeit. So you want to say maybe theoretically speaking, Michal Shabbos is not over the Avodah Zarah, because you see they do keep Yiddishkeit, but he doesn't say Lamaisa.
You say that the movements from back in the day, 500 years ago, or the time of the Gemara, are different than today.
In what sense?
What sense are you saying, Mama?
We don't have that many people that are on the Giluim now.
Nothing of the game. We're talking guys, Michal Shabbos.
Maybe a guy that was from today is different, and then went off. Is different than a guy that was from 1,000 years ago.
Why? What's the difference?
I don't know. Maybe the way, like everyone was. This was the practice. It's not the practice of everyone today.
Doesn't make a difference. That doesn't make a difference. Doesn't say any place that. Let me just say another interesting halacha about Peh over here. The Rav brings it down. Let me say that also we had in Masechtas Yuma. If you find a child in the city, the majority, abandoned child, and a Sufi or a Shtuka, then we know that, I don't want to go into detail if you adopt them. If you have a child, let's say I found an abandoned child in LA. So the child is raised as a goy. The majority of people are goy. This child, we allow to Michal Shabbos because we ain't hochen bepikich nefesh acharov. You follow what I just said? We found a child who's abandoned. Listen, it's an amazing thing. Find a child who's abandoned, so we're going to raise him as a goy. You're allowed to give him chazir. You're allowed to send him to. He's a goy. He's going to live a goyish life. But the Gemara says, when if Shabbos, you're allowed to give him Shabbos. Maybe he's a Jew. So Chesed in the Tshuva explains that the Shoyel didn't understand it. He couldn't swallow this. The Shoyel, one of the Gedolim. So he says, because the Torah says, "Ein ochem mekich nefesh acharov," and you have to Michal Shabbos. So the guy says, but maybe he's a guy. Yeah, the Torah said you should Michal Shabbos. So he asked, what happens if you ate meat? You know, us, we are pshuta people, and we ate a non-kosher piece of meat. From 1,000 chickens, you think there's always 2% maybe that's not kosher. Do you think you're the lucky one that always got kosher? Probably 8 not kosher, but it's not kosher. The Rav tells us he did the right thing. Understand? So the Torah says you have to Michal Shabbos. Even if it turns out to be a goy, we did the right thing. We were Michal Shabbos. So you see that even though he's not, so the Bir Halacha says a very important thing, because the Gemara says if he keeps save one Shabbos, Michal Shabbos echad, keep many Shabbosim. So he asks this Gemara, you see, this guy is never going to keep Shabbos.
That's not the only reason.
Yeah, but you see that reason B'chlal is not Negeya.
Correct.
You understand? This guy is never going to keep Shabbos. He lives as a goy. He joined the Christians. He's a goy. Api Torah, he's not to be a goy. Nothing to do with us.
Right.
But since the Ein Hochem Kichav Nefesh, this child grows up, we allow him Michal Shabbos. So that's why if a child is crushed, and if you're Michal Shabbos, he's going to just live an hour. We're passing, you're allowed to be Michal Shabbos to save a person's life to live for an hour. You're obligated. Chayisha. You're obligated to Michal Shabbos to save a person, even who's going to live an hour, even though he's not going to function. He's not going to be conscious, but he's going to be, you're obligated to save. That's why, I once explained over here, which the Moshe screams, there is people want to say that you're not having an abortion. So the Moshe screams, how could you have an abortion if you're allowed to be Michal Shabbos for the fetus? If you're allowed to be Michal Shabbos, many people treat a fetus like a pimple. Get rid of it. It's annoying. Unfortunately, I became pregnant. I wasn't careful, so get rid of it. But you see over here, the halacha is you're allowed to be Michal Shabbos for a fetus. If you're allowed to be Michal Shabbos for a fetus, it's a life. Because it's a pimple, you can't be Michal Shabbos. No, but we don't paskin that. You see clearly. There is no heter. There's just like heter to eat chazer. There is no heterim. Really, there is no heterim.
If it's challenging the mother.
Only the mother's in danger. There is the modern, unfortunately, the modern Orthodox people. There used to be 30 years ago. I have a friend who didn't have children. He adopted 2 children. He went to the modern Orthodox community, and
she got pregnant.
She got twice. He had 2 different girls. But he adopted the children. Today, I tried to help someone, and a rabbi told me it doesn't happen anymore. This is why. Either they, what's his name, or they abort it. What would they do? Unfortunate, but there is no such a heter. There is no Moshe Ritzicha Mamish. I once had a rabbi call me up, and he asked me, I need a heter to have this girl should have an abortion. So what's the heter? He tells me. He tells me because the father of this girl is a Sfardi, and he's going to find out who made it pregnant. He's going to kill the guy. I'm serious. I'm serious. He was serious, Rabbi. I said to him, he's the guilty one. She's not guilty. I mean, it takes, What I mean, he raped her, and rape her, and I said, there's no such a heter. Let the girl disappear. But I have a great suspicion that they did it anyways. My great suspicion.
Well, we're on the subject in a situation of rape.
So you're not allowed to kill,
So we encourage her to have the baby and
adopt it. You can't tolerate it. You know that Dina gave her daughter up for adoption. She couldn't. I know a person who gave up a child for adoption, was raped, and wasn't from our community, it was from Mexico, but I know someone adopted the child and she just couldn't live with it. She was violently raped. She was a frum lady, was raped, I don't know, in South America someone, but just was raped. The law and order is very little.
I've heard that under 40 days, that in certain
Moshe says there's no such a thing.
So I've just been misled.
Yeah, there's no such a thing. Moshe holds there's no such a thing.
No heter for the day after pill?
We don't know what the day after pill makes, if it became pregnant or not pregnant. I spoke to scientists. It's not very clear. So I don't say anything about it.
But in a situation like that, can a person, take the day after pill?
I don't know how it works. Two people told me a different version how it works. I'm not sure. A third person told me they don't know how it works exactly. Just know it works.
If there's a pregnancy and it terminates a pregnancy, what's the question?
But what happens the first 2 days? Is it pregnant already? It's not pregnant. What is it?
It goes into the egg. It's pregnant.
No, it's not. They tell you they could go into the egg and it's not even pregnant. It's a pre. I don't know. I'm not clear.
How it isolates it.
Yeah, it takes very often could be 6 days together, and then the body spits it out. Nothing happened. It doesn't start. It's like the Gemara says, you take a seed and put it into the ground, and it takes 3 days to take a shrosha. The Gemara says. No, it takes 3 days. It takes till the two of them get together to start. Takes a few days. But one guy says no, it does happen.
It's already in there, and it's going to be.
Yeah, it does. It means they didn't connect. It doesn't connect. Oh, they're together. Boom! It's ready.
But it's more than that, because it's a suffix if you're pregnant.
Right. So you're not sure you're pregnant, and
Suffix murder.
yeah.
Well, I understand, but I'm saying it's a suffix of a suffix.
Yeah, but no, but
What is it in suffix that you're 40 days?
Yeah, still murder.
Moshe held it's murder in the 40 days.
In the 40 days.
Yes. I know that people disagree, but the Moshe was the good ladar. No one comes close to him, and all the others who disagree are silly. The disagreements are so weak. Rayas, it's amazing. I've been asked. I say you're not allowed to. I always, unfortunately, I get these phone calls. It's not negay. It's not for me. My friend asked me to ask. It's anonymous, anyways.
You can tell your
Friend, I call you.
What about when they, I don't know what it's called, in vitro maybe? When
That is, everyone agrees that since it's developing in a place we cannot live, so it's not considered life yet, because it's in a place where right now you leave it, it's going to die. So that's why they let it die, because it's not.
So if they get technology where they can produce a baby like that without being implanted?
Well, wait.
No, because I'm saying some research allows things along those lines.
Yeah, but not life yet. Not life yet.
Okay, I'm just saying theoretically.
I don't know. I don't know. According to the maybe it won't allow to. They had to, but all the poskim say is because right now there's no way you could live the way it is. Till only the dish works that it's a few days, because that part could be outside the guf. So anyway, so let me explain another thing. There's a famous question about brain dead, right? About the brain dead. Is the person dead? Brain what?
Brain dead.
Brain stem.
Yeah, so the question is that it's called dead and not dead. So Rabbi Yashev want to bring a raya. There's a din in Shulchan that if a person is found under we're going to learn of it, found under a pile of a house that fell apart. So even though his head is crushed, so maybe if you're Mechal Shabbos to live next an hour, you're allowed to be Mechal Shabbos. So he says the head is crushed. So the head is crushed, he's brain dead. Shlomo Zalman says that's not what it means. He's unconscious. There's no proof from here that a brain dead. Moshe held, this was the big fight that Moshe and his son-in-law. Moshe's son-in-law kept on saying that his father-in-law said that brain dead is dead, and then he wrote a tshuva mefurish now that way. And
He changed his mind.
He changed his mind. He claims.
Then back off.
Yeah, then back off, and no one believes him, because in the tshuva it's very clear. He says that we don't know exactly, and we have no Messiah, and how could you just, it's very clearly what he says in the tshuva. If he would have changed his mind, he would have written it. There's a few there.
Rabbi Temple has a big influence.
In the modern Orthodox world, but not the Torah world don't. But they don't trust anything he says.
But we said last week that if you can't see the breathing,
That was Gemara, we understood here.
for those who are.
Yeah, the Gemara says because nowadays the breathing means nothing. A person could not breathe for 6 minutes and they still revive. Until 6 minutes, there's no brain death yet. That's what I was told. And Mamish, that's all Mamish told me. They Mamish brought people back to life. There was no breath. There was no nothing. They were pumping away.
Shabbos and someone will die, they bring him back to life.
Yes, didn't die. They don't make B'chaim Mesim. They didn't know how to once a person started breathing, they didn't know how to technique. Today we learned the technique. You blow into the lungs and keep on blowing. People at Solomon members told me they brought back people to life, mamish.
The guy never died.
They never died. No one was there. We're not Novi and Elisha, B'chaim Mesim. So anyway, yeah, that was one thing I wanted to say.
I think she did the same the other state.
The what?
I think she did some of this. And other things also.
Right.
That's a question I was going to this morning. I heard that Rabbi said about taking Tylenol and pills on Shabbos, that nowadays even healthy people take them today for pain, so you can take Tylenol and cool.
Never heard about that.
I said that it's a share. I haven't been a Shkach Brothers this morning. They were talking about being sick on Shabbos.
Ask him to show you where the Moshe says it.
It's a share. It's a recording. I don't know.
Oh. He does say, in the Tshuva, he doesn't say that. You see that many things are quoted with the Moshe, and you don't find it in the Tshuvas. Could be this is a Tshuva someplace that he did right.
No, just to explain, we said that anything that people eat also helps people.
Yeah, but the Tylenol only take when you have a headache. No one takes Tylenol when you don't have a headache.
But he was saying you're walking around normal. It's like you're not even sick.
That is not true. We have people take Tylenol when they have a headache.
Or if they just have a pain, if they ache in their joint.
Yeah, so that's a pain. When was the last time you took a Tylenol?
Is a vitamin you can take on Shabbos?
Vitamin is something else.
Allowed?
He says you're not allowed to. That's the Chiddush. Moshe says you're not allowed to take vitamins on Shabbos. He says clearly in the Tshuva you can't take vitamins. He's right. He holds it like a pill, and then you're not allowed to take it on Shabbos and Moshe.
It's not considered food?
He said it's made in a pill way. He said, how's it in a pill? Crushed. It's done that way. But that svara doesn't make sense, because you do take time only when you're in pain. There is such a marsham that brings a rash, but if you take people heart medication, take every day. Since you take it every day, you're allowed to take it. That's something else. But something that people in pain, let's say you're saying, I took the last time I told is when the doctor worked on my teeth. He told me take it because I took it. Afterwards, I don't know. Anyway, so most people don't take the pain medicine, only in pain. It's true that today we pop painkillers for the nose itching, but you take it when your nose itches. You don't take it every day. So there's another important Rav over here. Let me explain something. There's a din, Habuba Machteres. You know what Habuba Machteres means? The guy tunnels under. And what happens, but while the guy tunnels under, the tunnel fell on him on Shabbos. I allowed to be Mechal Shabbos for him. You know, the police have a law. I didn't know this. You know the police have a law. I remember when was it when there was a big shootout over here? Who was the LA guy?
Police?
Remember there was a big shootout in the valley?
Yeah, the guy with the armor.
Yeah, I forgot. Which year was it? I forgot when. But anyways, I learned then on Nuzach that they sued the police department because they let him bleed to death. He tried to kill all the policemen. But, you know what I mean?
You can sue if you don't win.
Yeah, but he tried to sue. The only reason he didn't win because they couldn't prove that he did negligence. They tried to say they were afraid it was another person. I remember that story I was so shocked because I would have shot him dead, not just, I would have to make sure he died, but, not, But the din is, if a guy is a buma machteres, you're not mechuyev to save his life. A guy comes and he makes a hold up, and he's shot. So should you save his life now? A Yid, unfortunately, let's say a Yid comes in, and now he goes to the mikveh, bein tamstvil, and now he comes in and he needs some money, he pulls a gun, and someone shot him before he had a chance to shoot. So according to the Gemara says, you let him die. You don't have to save his life.
But only in a situation where it's a pikuach nefesh for you, where he was going to harm you. If a person's doing something minor, a goslin, a ganav, sneaking into your house.
Yeah. No, b'machteres.
Saying goslin is more.
B'machter, both. B'machteres too. The Gemara says a ganav is, he knows that if you're going to stand there, he's going to kill you. But it was talking about since, let's say he was shot, it's a Gemara in Sanhedrin. The Gemara says in Sanhedrin, since he was mafker his nefesh, he's chayiv misa. You don't say chayiv b'hem l'shimas b'hem. That's a Gemara.
Do you let him die, or are you just not?
I mean, you're allowed to. It doesn't say you're not allowed to. There's no chayiv. If it's Shabbos, you can't be mechal Shabbos. Talking Shabbos. In the big day, you want to be nice, you can be nice. Try to save his life.
So you're not allowed to be mechal Shabbos.
You're not allowed to be mechal Shabbos. So, this halacha is a very interessant halacha. This bothered me very, very much. That means if a guy comes and he pulls out his gun, okay, and I could give my money to him and he wouldn't shoot me and everything will be peaceful.
Still might shoot you.
Let's say, the Gemara doesn't say that. The Gemara doesn't say that. The Gemara says, I know today, but the Gemara says, the Gemara says that the reason is because he knows you're going to hold back your money, you're not going to give you back, and he's willing to shoot you. So if a guy is very calm, guy comes in, pulls the gun, and he says, I want the money, and people are very calm, not everyone loses himself, and take the money. There are people who, I remember Lakewood, there was an older guy, I was young and he was 50 years old, I thought he was an old guy, but a junkie broke into the house, and he says to him, you know what, I live alone. He was sat in a wheelchair. I live alone. He says, why don't you join me for breakfast? Take what you want, but you don't have to take what you want. Let's first eat breakfast together. It doesn't look like you ate. The guy came back the next morning to eat breakfast with him. The whole story made him firm. The whole story got him off drugs. But that people are very calm. He was a very calm person. So do I have to let my money be taken? Why do you take my money? Can I take a gun and shoot him now? You understand the question? Normally, people are panicked and they're going to hold back. And let's say you are very calm and he's standing there with a gun and you could give the money away. Can you just pull and shoot him first?
You're protecting your life, not your money.
No.
The guy is not going to kill you.
He's not going to give you let him take the money.
So protection of property, can you kill someone?
Right. So the Gemara says, yes. You know why? I'm not mechuyev to give my money. Well, you want to take mine? It's not yours. It's my money. You want to take my money and then you want to kill me. So I'm allowed to kill you first. You understand what the Gemara says? Of course. Okay, I'll give my money.
He's challenging your life.
He's challenging my life because you're saying to me, give him the money and no one's going to die. They say this in a robbery. No one's going to get hurt. Just give us the money, take your wallet out. No one's going to get hurt. Very nice. I'm not mechuyev. So if there's someone there who heard the news, who's quicker with the draw, you say in English?
The reason is he has a weapon that can kill you. He's threatening your life.
Right, but let's say, no. Let's say everyone is calm. They come in. No one's going to get hurt.
I don't know what you're going to do.
But that's not the reason. Let's say you do know.
Let's say I give him my money. Can I chase him down the block?
Yes, and shoot him.
Okay, so it's not about
Why? Because it's my money. It's my money. If I would go fight him now, he'll kill me. So I don't have to have my money be taken away.
So let's take it to practical. If someone goes in your backyard and stealing oranges, I can shoot him. It's my own.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a gun. Didn't come with a gun. He's not putting your life in danger.
It's only on the premise that initially there is a threat to you.
Right. He's asking better. What happens? You took the money and he ran away and he turned his back. Can I now shoot him?
Yeah, because again, your life is
because I want my money back. If I want to get my money back, he's going to kill me.
If you get the money, what's the law?
I'm trying to make the distinction. So what's the difference? If there is no threat at all.
But yes, he will. If I'm going to demand my money back, he's still going to kill me now.
Money, you want to take it back. Understand? A guy steals my very expensive item from my backyard and is running away. Can I shoot
Without a gun?
Without any weapon?
No, you can't shoot him because catch up to him, and get it back.
A guy breaks into my house without a weapon.
Yeah, they'll fight him off. There's nothing.
You have no right to be McCall.
Well, no, don't shoot him dead. Just you could shoot him in the leg, maybe. Get him out of there. Someone told me he went to train. Somebody told me that he went to train. After the riots over here. So I have a few friends in my neighborhood went to learn how to shoot. So there was a policeman teaching the shooting range. Never shoot to hurt, because you can get sued. Only shoot to kill. That's what I told them. Because a dead person is then going to sue you. That's what I did. That was a policeman training them.
That's so awkward because today you're not allowed to aim at the head in certain events. I mean, there's rules of where you're allowed to shoot. You're not allowed to shoot in the head.
Yeah, you can always say, I don't know how to aim. I mean, we prove it. How are you going to prove that? I don't know how to aim. Most people don't know how to aim.
There's no rules of the police or rules on individuals.
For to shoot a person, you cannot. It sounds like it's too aggressive to shoot in certain areas of the body.
Nah.
You have the right to pull a
Police
gun.
officer, at least. Police officer.
Nah, police shoot to kill. Police don't shoot to
If you have a right to pull your gun, you have a
I
right.
spoke to him.
But legally, if a guy turns his back, you can't shoot him, right?
No, you can't.
In your house.
Even out.
Even now, yeah? Because I remember when it was the riots, they arrested someone because they turned their back and they shot him. And
Depends what you prosecute.
oh, okay. No, but say legally, is there such a law?
There's a theoretical law. It's all subject to interpretation.
Okay.
Because the concept is until a person reaches a safe place of safety, the crime is continuing.
Well, it's true. Often you hear stories, the guy turns around and shoots. Yeah, I mean, you hear the stories.
I had a case where the shop owner was robbed at gunpoint. The guy was running 20 yards away. He shot him in the back. The shop owner shot the gun from the back.
And he died?
No, he literally shot him in the back, and we charged. I prosecuted the shop, not the shop owner, the robber.
And what was his defense? No defense.
No, he robbed the guy. The only thing he can say is I got shot in the back.
Were there any charges pressed against the business owner?
I didn't even ask for immunity. But that's a separate issue. But, no charges. I didn't even try to. Anyway.
You want self-defense?
Yeah, it's a continuing crime. So
Yeah, I mean, I remember now, someone told me there was a famous story, a Yid was shot, the guy was already, left the store, at the door, turned around and shot him. Ready to walk around, and they have it on video, he walked to the door, turned around and shot him. A second thought, doesn't want witnesses. Whatever. Okay, stop over there.